Hello, my name is Chris Beck. I'm the editor of Manufacturing Management magazine. We're a primary media sponsor for the SMAS 2021 National Manufacturing Conference for Scotland. I'm delighted to be joined today by Nick Shields, director of SMAS. We're going to be talking a little bit about the conference, what delegates can expect from the conference, and a wider discussion around Scottish manufacturing and how it's going to recover from the pandemic and the trials of the last year or so. Hello, Nick. Nice to see you today.
Hi, Chris, and thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem. Why should manufacturers be looking to attend the conference? What will they get out of it?
The manufacturing sector has been a very important sector throughout the pandemic and this period of time we've had during COVID. But if you think of the recent PMI figures, I forecast quite a boom in output in manufacturing. It was at its highest level for 8 years, and the most recent figures that have come out from the RBS. So what we're seeing at the moment in this sector is some real challenges on businesses meeting demand, securing kind of key inputs and components and supplies. So I don't think there'll ever be a more important time for manufacturing companies to be fit, lean, and ready to take up the challenge that I think the economy will throw at it coming out of this recent sort of turbulent time we've had. So it's an opportunity to learn from some great thinkers and great speakers and companies and prepare themselves for the challenges to come.
Absolutely. You mentioned some of the great speakers that you've got lined up for the conference this year. What are some of the kind of key things that they're going to be talking about?
The irony of having a virtual conference is I think that we can spread our net and go globally for some of the best talent we could lay our hands on. And I think we've delivered. I mean, I'm always proud of what we do for the manufacturing conference, but I think this year we have Kevin Sneeder, the global managing partner for McKinsey, the world's foremost consulting firm. He is either going to be speaking for us from Hong Kong or New York. So I think a truly global perspective from the head of McKinsey on what's to come. Kevin is he's a Glaswegian, a bit like myself, and has risen to the top of his organisation at the head of his field. So I'm really looking forward to what he's saying. We have Rami Goldratt, who from Goldratt Consulting, whose father wrote one of the founding texts of operational excellence, the goal. So again, delighted that someone of his calibre can join our conference and speak. And he's got a very long association with Scotland as well. So he's very passionate about what we can do in Scotland. And Henrik von Schiele, the founding sort of father of Industry 4. So again, really want to push that whole kind of modern technology, productivity. So I can't think of a more stellar lineup we could have for a manufacturing conference. I'm just so delighted that we can talk about these themes of technology, change, operational excellence, and global leadership. So really thrilled to be able to line up that quality of speakers for the event.
One of the advantages, if you like, of having a virtual conference is that you can get speakers from everywhere, but also it's more easy to attend for the delegates, and you must be looking forward to welcoming delegates who maybe wouldn't have come along to the conference in previous years for time commitments or whatever reason.
We made it much more accessible, so took 2 half days rather than a full day, which I think everyone would accept as tough to do in front of a screen for a whole day. So an afternoon and a morning, bite size as well. And as you say, we've already got over 200 sign-ups, and that's with what, almost 2 months to go till the event. So really pleased at the take up, and that's before we've really started the big marketing push. But I'm sure that people will see the caliber of content that we've got coming up, the workshops that are available, and yeah, it'll give people an easy opportunity to drop in and hear from these kind of truly world class speakers. So yes, a different format, but I think we're kind of all used to it now, but we wouldn't want someone to be sitting for a day and a half in front of a screen. So we've definitely tailored it to maximise the opportunity and make sure that it's as appealing to many people as possible.
If we cast our eye to the wider manufacturing sector away from the conference a little bit, you mentioned earlier how it's been a very turbulent year, not just for the Scottish economy or indeed just the UK economy, but the whole global economy. How is Scotland manufacturing sector rebounding? Are you starting to see green shoots? Obviously, you mentioned the PMI data a little bit earlier on, but is there Are there other signs of life?
Absolutely. It was quite an interesting kind of start to the whole kind of pandemic process where we found that certain sectors were hit fairly hard, fairly quickly. So what we would call food service, so that would be manufacturing businesses supporting into the kind of hotel and hospitality trade, they struggled right away for obvious reasons. And also areas like kind of automotive aviation, where those businesses saw that kind of MRO activity falling away as demand for transportation services fell away during the pandemic. But other businesses actually, after that first sort of shutdown, when we got a kind of risk assessment process in place and we had a kind of operating guideline for businesses, many businesses actually thrived during that period. So winners and losers, definitely. And some sectors kind of came to the fore, such as life sciences, where we've seen businesses kind of investing and unleashing business decisions that were maybe that were always maybe marginal, and we have one of the vaccine producers in Scotland as well, a company called Valneva, making significant investments. So there have been a mixed response, but as I said, with the PMI coming up, and I was talking to my advisory board earlier on today, and they're seeing input prices rising considerably, raw material prices, which is always a sign of a constriction in demand, or an excess of demand, or a constriction of supply. So once you see that happening, it causes them some certainly pain in terms of their pricing and costing structure, but it is a sign that the economy is moving in that sector. So I absolutely am seeing those kind of green shoots, as you would call them, or kind of optimistic signs that the demand is increasing for those businesses.
Absolutely, and you alluded there to the fact that manufacturing has really stepped up during the pandemic. Not just the vaccine manufacturers and the life science companies, but you had gin distilleries, whiskey distilleries producing hand sanitizer. You had big automotive manufacturers helping to produce ventilators. How important is it that kind of spirit, I suppose, of collaboration and innovation continues, in your opinion?
I think it's going to reset the dial for what we're capable of doing. You're right. I was really taken with the amount of businesses that just sort of down tools and said, "How do we produce hand sanitizer in volume?" We had to we kind of moved heaven and earth in Scotland to produce PPE up here. So we moved from a position of practically nothing was procured from a PPE perspective to, if you exclude gloves, almost 80% of all our PPE is now procured within market. So a mindset shift on what's possible. And again, those marginal investment decisions where you can build resilience in. And also you've then got what I think was that kind of call to arms, and that from a kind of national response for businesses to put their shoulder behind the wheel and help with that response. So I'm looking on that sort of collaboration and that kind of innovative thinking to sort of drive forward and say, well, how can we use that to further energize what is one of the most important sectors of the economy? Manufacturing is where all our exports comes from. It's where all our R&D and innovation happens. So if we can build on that kind of newfound love and appreciation of that sector, let's use it and drive it forward.
Absolutely. You mentioned innovation and R&D there, and obviously there's a lot going on in Scotland around that, with the National Manufacturing Institute for Scotland and various other R&D focused projects. How important are they going to be to the future of manufacturing in Scotland?
Very, very important. What we will build in Scotland is that facility for particular SMEs to understand what does good look like, and where can I see new technology, and where can I experience what it can do for my business in a manner that is friendly to me and accessible. And that's what we've been doing across Scotland. So there are, as you say, the National Manufacturing Institute for Scotland is currently being constructed beside Glasgow Airport, amidst what will be a large development for an advanced manufacturing innovation district. The UK Medicines Manufacturing Innovation Centre is going in beside that as well. So that's a bit of a focal point. But all across Scotland, we've invested in 11 advanced manufacturing challenge fund centres, which are physical resources for SMEs to use free at the point of use for them as well, which is very important, and will give them that sort of taste of what digital automation, new investment can do for their business. And it's been designed so that it is a kind of user-friendly interface. So we're very, very keen to help make sure that we don't design an infrastructure that in the past maybe organisations have found it difficult to sort of engage with these sort of facilities. We've done our absolute utmost to make sure that it is accessible and as open as possible. So that's something that we're kind of very proud of that we've done in Scotland, to build that kind of nationwide infrastructure of support.
Absolutely, and I believe that the NMIS, the Manufacturing Institute of Scotland, is going to be doing a workshop, or they're certainly sponsoring the conference.
They are one of our key sponsors, and will facilitate a workshop environment as well. So yeah, again, there has been the Advanced Forming Research Centre, which is the Catapult Centre, which is beside the facility as well. So the organisation is part of that kind of wider enterprise as well. So they've got some great facilities and resources that they can showcase, and so we've got a lightweighting centre there as well, and a range of kind of what I would call kind of very useful sort of knowledge-based facilities that manufacturers use in terms of material selection, metal processing as well, so and digital, and how to best use that. So I'm really looking forward to what they can do at the conference in terms of their workshop, but it's all part of that, as I say, that kind of large infrastructure that we're investing in Scotland to support the kind of SME manufacturing businesses.
How can manufacturers find out more about the conference? Find out more about the speakers and book tickets.
There is now a website up and running for it, and you can sign up there as well. So that's we can make that after this, and we can kind of widely publish that. So very easy to access as well. As I said, over 200 people have already signed up. So and that's almost 2 months before the event. So fairly competitively priced as well. We appreciate, and people will be able to access this from home or their office or their factory, wherever they're working as well. So that's something that we'll be actively marketing in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks to maximise the opportunity for as many people to participate as possible.
It sounds like it's shaping up to be a really interesting event, and I for one can't wait to tune in and hear about all the good stuff that's going on up in Scotland.
The challenges we face in Scotland, I think, are pretty universal. Productivity, investment, Industry 4. So, albeit it will have a Scottish sort of theme to it, all are welcome. And I'd like to think that the same problems and challenges we're dealing with and facing here are pretty universal across the global manufacturing world. But I think, and particularly so in that kind of modern advanced economy, where I think there's a balance towards let's reindustrialise as well. So, kind of interesting to see a country like Scotland who's making a real kind of, I'd like to think, a positive step along that line in terms of the infrastructure and the government back investments they're making. So it'll be interesting to see how businesses, let's just make sure that businesses get the most out of the fantastic range of resources and facilities we've got.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Nick, and I look forward to seeing you and indeed welcoming everyone along to the conference in a few weeks' time.
That's great, Chris. Thank you for talking to me.